The time now is 9 p.m. on Thursday, and it's time for the Daily Rewind, your one-stop shop for today's top stories and headlines.
Norovirus cases are up in the Commonwealth. 10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live with ways to protect yourself and your family.
Plus, more children are being homeschooled in Virginia. 10 on your side's Karina Garcia joins us to explain why parents are choosing to keep their children home.
And here's a live look outside. You can see it is raining in the Virginia Beach Town Center area as we start off your Thursday morning, and it may rain the entire day today. Meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler will have your full forecast in 10 minutes. The Virginia Health Department says norovirus cases are up across the state. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 43. I'm Kiana Patterson.
And I'm Katie Collette. Here locally, we have seen multiple norovirus-like outbreaks in the last few weeks. 10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Portsmouth with a breakdown of the numbers and details on the virus. Michael?
Katie, Kiana, the norovirus is more commonly known as the stomach flu or the stomach bug, and the symptoms, as many people know, are not pleasant to deal with. They include vomiting, diarrhea, being nauseous, and now we have seen an uptick in visits to the emergency department because of norovirus and gastrointestinal illnesses. And the Department of Health says that since the start of February, our threshold, which is 10.5%, the rate is above that at 12%. Here in the eastern region, and in the past week, we've seen 2 norovirus-like outbreaks in this part of the state. Northwest Virginia is currently seeing the most, with 4 of those outbreaks. Typically, norovirus cases do see a spike towards the end of the winter and the start of spring, which is kind of the start of where we are right now. And the virus can last to 1 to 3 days in someone. You could see those symptoms, but you can be contagious even after your symptoms recede, and it spreads through contaminated food, water, or coming into contact with someone who has the virus. It's considered highly contagious, especially when you talk about schools, nursing homes, and things like if you were to go on a cruise. And there isn't a particular way to treat norovirus. You kind of just have to deal with the symptoms. Doctors recommend staying hydrated while you have it. In terms of prevention, the best way to go about that is to wash your hands frequently, clean surfaces when you are cooking, and if you do have norovirus, make sure you're isolating yourself to stop the spread to other people. And you can read more about the norovirus and our cases here locally on our website, wavy.com. Live in Portsmouth, Michael Rinker, 10 on your side.
New this morning, U.S. Marshals need your help as they search for a suspect connected to a deadly shooting. The reward money is now at $3,000 for tips. Officials need your help. They're searching for Curtis Frazier Jr. Frazier is wanted for a shooting that happened at Karma Lounge in Hampton on April 11th of last year. The lounge recently had its license to serve alcohol revoked.
A Portsmouth man will spend 5 years behind bars for intending to sell fentanyl. Investigators say Saw Mills sold fentanyl and other drugs mixed with it during 4 controlled purchases conducted by law enforcement last February and March. Police arrested Mills on April 11th. This morning, we are sharing a local family's battle with a rare heart disease known as CPVT. This condition has severely affected the life of a 5-year-old boy.
And it was the diagnosis from a CHKD team that finally gave this family answers. The family says that every day since then has been an uphill battle. After lengthy hospital stays in Charlottesville hospitals with no clear answers as to what could have caused an episode, the family decided to get the help from CHKD, who finally answered the family's plea to genetic testing, and that's where the diagnosis of Jalen with CPVT was.
This is a rare heart disease that causes dangerous, irregular heartbeats. Other family members have also been diagnosed, and they want to spread awareness.
So we really have to, take turns doing everything and depend on the limited income that we have, as well as with family and whoever can help us. This is why we're reaching out, because people need to know that this condition is one rare. This condition is life-changing. This condition affects everybody.
The family has a GoFundMe account and an Amazon wish list, and we've posted those links for you over on wavy.com. Comes after what's called a post-pandemic dip. 10 on your side's Karina Garcia joins us live this morning. So, Karina, why are parents choosing to keep their kids at home?
Well, Katie, Kiana, 3 reasons really, but first let's talk about the numbers. Just to give perspective here, it's important to note that it's no secret that many families were forced to learn from home, resorting to online learning. During COVID's peak is when everyone became a Zoom expert. Data from the Virginia Department of Education shows us that nearly 60,000 children in Virginia were learning from the comfort of their homes. And since then, the data shows us that at least 50,000 children have been homeschooled each year since the pandemic. What's interesting, though, is that the 2025-2026 school year is recording record numbers that mirror pandemic levels. We are up in the 60,000s again. Now, the Home Educators Association of Virginia says this speaks to a greater trend sweeping across the nation because, according to Virginia state experts, more parents are choosing flexibility, affordability, and educational oversight. They say that homeschooling allows parents to explore different methods and tailored approaches they believe are best suited to their kids, including the ability to move at the child's pace rather than at their grade level or age. Now, homeschooling does come with stigma, and there are several misconceptions like the lack of socialization and the making up of grades, 2 big ones. But one group at the state capitol in Richmond, Cultural Roots, essentially says that homeschool kids develop their social and cultural skills through real-world experiences outside of a classroom, though it's up to the parent to provide that rich environment. Now, coming up on Wavy News 10 at midday, we speak to Cultural Roots, and you can hear how they provide a curriculum for parents interested in homeschooling. Karina Garcia, 10 on your side.
Karina, thank you so much. We have developing news now from Suffolk. Firefighters are looking into what caused a fire that left 3 people without a home last night. It happened around 7:30 on Holiday Street. When first responders arrived, they found smoke coming from the 2nd floor of the building. Crews quickly began attacking the fire. They had it under control by 8:15. No injuries were reported. The American Red Cross is helping those who are displaced.
And in Chesapeake, the cause of a fire is under investigation. It happened on Shalala Road, not far from the Grassfield area of the city. Crews were called around 4 yesterday afternoon. You can see smoke coming from the backyard. Fire officials say a shed and a car garage was on fire. No one was hurt.
Police are still looking into a deadly shooting that happened in Newport News.
We reported about this yesterday morning. Police say after midnight, they found 18-year-old Josiah Smith shot on 29th Street. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died.
Now, this was the 3rd homicide in the city within 2 weeks. Neighbors say they are shocked by the news.
Close community. Take time to mourn, take time to grieve, and use that as fuel to get involved, to step up, step outside, and don't put yourself in harm's way, but get involved. That's why we do what we do, to try to prevent that, you know, because that young man had a lot of life to live. I don't know the circumstances around it, but it's unfortunate. Condolences to the family.
Newport News police say they do not currently have a suspect and ask anyone with information to call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. You can also submit an anonymous tip through the P3 Tips app.
A shelter-in-place order for Puerto Vallarta and surrounding areas in Mexico has lifted.
They were under lockdown for 48 hours after the capture and killing of one of the country's most notorious drug kingpins, El Mencho. Major airlines have also added extra flights to get travelers out of the region.
Mexico is set to host the opening World Cup match in June. The ongoing violence is now raising concerns, but Mexico's leaders say there's nothing to worry about and the event will go on as planned.
FIFA has absolutely no intention of removing any venues from Mexico. The 3 venues remain completely unchanged.
We are analyzing and monitoring the situation in Mexico. We are convinced that everything will turn out in the best possible way.
Government is going to have a lot of security. I think it will have an impact because everyone just saw what happened, and of course, people are going to think twice about coming.
Mexico is expected to host 13 matches across 3 venues. Again, that opening match is set for June.
According to Harvard University, former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers will resign from teaching at the school. This comes as the campus reviews his alleged ties to convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Summers' name appeared hundreds of times in the most recently released files. Summers served as Treasury Secretary under former President Bill Clinton and went on to lead Harvard as president for 5 years, starting in 2001.
We'll miss his research, but we won't miss the personal life he led, and we won't miss the taint he left on this university. So ultimately, I think I'm a bit relieved.
There'll be a continued investigation into all the money that went into Harvard from Epstein. I think it's obvious that he should resign, and I'm glad that his ties with Harvard are over.
Summers is expected to leave at the end of the school year.
The Department of Justice is looking into if it withheld documents from the Epstein files. Officials say dozens of FBI witness interviews from the investigation appear to be missing. This includes 3 interviews related to a woman who accused President Trump of sexually assaulting her. That woman, who was unidentified, came forward after Epstein's arrest in 2019. She says she had been sexually assaulted by both President Trump and Epstein in the 80s when she was still a minor.
Senators Tim Kaine and Mark Warner are both taking aim at the Department of Justice over the concern of missing Epstein files. Senator Kaine says the DOJ is running a Trump cover-up operation, while Senator Warner posted, quote, "So more and more reporting is coming out. There are missing Epstein files related to a minor who accused Donald Trump of assault. Where are the rest of the files?" End quote.
A federal judge ruled President Trump's third country deportation policy is illegal. U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy says the policy to deport immigrants to countries they've never been to is unlawful, and it could put them in danger. Judge Murphy cites a law preventing the government from removing someone to a country where their life and freedom may be threatened.
Today on Wavy Plus.
It actually started with Yelp. A lot of people don't know this, but when you log into Yelp and you take so many pictures, you can actually request to be Yelp Elite, and then you can go to different events that Yelp creates throughout your city.
You just have to find a problem and you have to find a solution. So even if you're someone who doesn't sell a physical product, what is your solution? What is your one-word answer that will make people feel something?
But when you recenter yourself and realize, well, I got this far because this was my idea and my path's not supposed to look like somebody else's path.
You never know who can see a certain video. One video literally can get you in front of any audience.
I learned so much just then. Ready to turn your content into a career? This week on Becoming Influential, Tamara Brown is sharing the ultimate growth hack. We're revisiting top conversations with pro influencers to give you the step-by-step blueprint for starting your brand from scratch. That airs today on Wavy Plus. In your health headlines, the president's nominee for Surgeon General, Casey Means, was grilled on Capitol Hill by the Senate Health Committee yesterday. This, as many critics say the 38-year-old, who does not hold an active medical license, is not fit for the job, as she is better known for being a wellness influencer, author, and entrepreneur. Her confirmation hearing comes as the CDC releases new data on America's obesity rates. The data finds about 21% of American children and teens between the ages of 2 and 19 are obese. That is the highest level ever recorded.
Approximately 20% of our youth are obese. 1 in 3 adolescents age 12 to 17 have prediabetes. 1 in 3.
Nothing is more urgent than restoring wholeness for Americans, physically, mentally, and societally.
Means says she is eager to reshape America's approach to health.
Well, it is not quite spring yet, but doctors say you can go on and start preparing for allergy season. Patients are recommended to start with a focus on prevention. If your symptoms usually flare up, consider using nasal sprays, and for itching or sneezing, experts suggest allergy medication. Doctors also suggest keeping pets out of the bedroom to avoid tracking allergens inside. But if you're still struggling, experts say you may want to schedule an appointment with an allergist.
Without better prevention and early detection, the American Heart Association believes heart disease and stroke will increase substantially in women over the next 4 decades. The increase is expected to be fueled by high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity. Researchers looked at historical trends from census estimates and 2 national surveys and determined the amount of women with at least one type of cardiovascular disease will increase from nearly 11% in 2020 to more than 14% in 2050. Those findings appear in the journal Circulation.
Looking ahead to this weekend, there is a heart health fundraiser. It's a boots on the ground theme for heart health and heart disease. It remains the highest cause of death here in Virginia, and it disproportionately impacts African Americans. Organizers say this event will combine survivor recognition, prevention, education, and policy awareness in a culturally engaging format. It is this Saturday at the Buco Risto Bar at 11:30, and it goes until 2.
Rainfall continues across Hampton Roads for the rest of the day today. This evening, we will get a little bit of a break, though. It still stays cloudy, though, across much of the area. Temps fall down to near 40 degrees tomorrow. We're back up to near 50. Most areas hanging out in the 40s, though, with some lingering showers out there. It should stay pretty light, though, not like the heavy rainfall that we've had to deal with through the day today. So, again, we get a little bit of a break from the rainfall. That's where things are by midnight. Into the early morning hours, though, this front stalls to our south, so it throws a little bit more moisture back our way into northeast North Carolina and into the south side for the early afternoon. If you're in areas north Williamsburg, Saluda over to Melfa, you'll probably stay dry throughout the day. It's just a few light showers across the south side and into North Carolina. As we head into the weekend, finally some much nicer weather headed our way for Saturday and Sunday. We'll have sunshine, temperatures cooler as you work towards the coastline with this easterly breeze on Saturday, but inland areas you'll be able to get back up into the 60s. So Saturday, maybe a few extra clouds, especially early. Sunday, we're looking pretty good with highs in the upper 50s. This nice weather will be pretty short-lived, though. We'll have more rainfall and maybe some snow coming up on Monday, especially late in the afternoon into the evening hours as a system passes through. Not a lot of snowfall, maybe a dusting at the most. We'll keep an eye on it. Eventually, this system stalls out, but some more mild air works its way in. So we're mainly looking at rainfall Tuesday and then especially for the day on Wednesday. So that's the latest on the early portions of next week. But enjoy this weekend while we have it with the sunshine, which comes back out.
New at midday, Newport News police are investigating a shooting that left a man seriously hurt yesterday morning. Police say officers were called to Dean Ray Court just before 11. When they arrived, they found a man who had been shot. He was taken to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. Now, this shooting happened just hours after police responded to a shooting on 29th Street that claimed the life of 18-year-old Josiah Smith. Newport News police say right now they have no suspects for either shooting. Fresh off the State of the Union address, President Trump and Vice President Vance are hitting the road to promote their agenda as congressional lawmakers look ahead to the midterm elections. Kristen Eskow has more from Washington.
Today, Vice President Vance will travel to Wisconsin, and President Trump is set to travel to Corpus Christi on Friday, just days before the primary elections in Texas. Meanwhile, House Democrats have gathered in Northern Virginia as they craft their strategy for the midterms.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
As President Trump and Vice President Vance are set to take that message on the road, Republicans on Capitol Hill are also expressing confidence about their record.
We're putting more money in Americans' pockets and working hard to make life affordable for American families.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says there's still more to do and told reporters he wants to move forward with a bipartisan bill that aims to help more Americans buy homes.
A housing bill which gets at the heart of the affordability issue, particularly for younger Americans.
But Democrats argue Republicans have come up short when it comes to cutting costs.
They failed on the economy. They failed on health care.
House Democrats have gathered for their annual Issues Conference in Northern Virginia. As they look to win back the majority, they say the focus is on affordability.
We'll spend the next few days meeting with labor leaders, policy experts, elected officials, and most importantly, each other
to examine the Republican affordability crisis and put forward our own solutions.
It's going to be a sprint to November 3rd. House Democrats are on the verge of a takeover.
The White House says Vice President Vance will visit a machining factory during his time in Wisconsin and speak on the administration's accomplishments. A White House official tells us during his visit to Texas, President Trump will speak on energy and the economy. In Washington, I'm Kristen Escow.
New at midday, it's time to start preparing for the pink petals of cherry blossom season. Meteorologists in D.C. say spring may come a little bit later this year, but the minute the blooms burst onto the scene, crowds are expected to follow. Here's some tips from travel blogger Aaliyah Myers. You can avoid fighting the crowds at the tidal basin by first heading to the top of the Washington Monument. Lots of folks take beautiful photos at the bottom, but at the top you can really see a cool bird's eye view. But this part's important. Tickets are only $1, but you have to snag them 30 days in advance, which is a little bit tricky because we don't really know when the blooms are going to come. So you got to play that just right. She also suggests Blossoms fans come check out the National Arboretum or walk through Mount Rose Park in Georgetown. Finally, she says the Congressional Cemetery always has a great variety of cherry trees.
New at 4, Norfolk Public Schools now has an acting superintendent. Dr. Jeffrey Rose was appointed to that role this afternoon. He was supposed to start Monday as the district's permanent superintendent. But as of now, Rose has no license to do so. 10 on your side's Brett Hall joins us live at district headquarters with more.
Regina, that's exactly right. Rose will start as acting superintendent tomorrow. What you may not know is that under Virginia state law, you do not need a license to be an acting superintendent of a school division, just a superintendent. So acting superintendent is what Rose will be, continuing this ongoing saga of the leadership of Norfolk Public Schools. Now, as we reported earlier this week, Norfolk Public Schools says Dr. Rose, who was appointed for the first time in January, actually submitted his application for a license in Virginia in December. According to the district, the state's education department has said there's nothing wrong with his application. Actually, according to the school district, they say it is complete. It just hasn't been voted on yet by the Board of Education. Now, we did reach out to the Department of Education to verify these claims, but we haven't heard back. Is that upsetting to you?
No, because it's, for me, it's an opportunity to check our processes and get it right. So something happened, let's look at it, and then let's try to make it better so this doesn't happen to anyone else, whether it's a teacher, administrator, or superintendent.
Now, that was chair of the Norfolk School Board, Tiffany Moore Buffalo. She and the other 6 members unanimously agreed to approve the amendment to Rose's contract. He's still going to get the $290,000 a year salary that he was appointed to have in the permanent role, but until March 26th, which is when the Virginia Board of Education will meet again, he will be acting.
All right, thank you, Brett. It's been more than 35 years since an 81-year-old woman was found dead on the floor of her Suffolk home. The case is still cold. Police recently put out a plea for any new information in the death of Marion Reed. 10 on your side's Andy Fox spoke with a family member today.
The date was February 25th, 1990. 36 years ago. A brutal attack took place at the end of this road. Marion Reed, 81 years old, would be killed.
It happened here in what was described as a dilapidated house.
She was home alone, and somebody broke in on her, and they murdered and raped her.
Marion was found dead on the floor, and her last contact by phone was with family the day before. Newsom says when he heard what happened to Marion, well, he just couldn't believe it.
Who would do it to a precious, loving person that loved baseball?
Marion was found bound with many injuries and had been sexually assaulted. Her house is gone now, replaced with a new one through the woods there. Did you ever have a suspicion as to who did this?
No.
Just someone came and left and... For what reason?
I have the slightest idea.
After 36 years, detectives still have no idea who committed such a heinous crime. Even after many examinations and resubmissions of evidence, nothing at all. If you have any information, please call the crime line, 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP.
Authorities have put out another plea for help finding the suspect in a deadly shooting at a Hampton nightclub. The U.S. Marshals Service increased the reward to $5,000 in the search for Curtis Frazier Jr. Frazier is wanted for a shooting that happened at the Karma Lounge in Hampton on April 11th of last year. The lounge recently had its license to serve alcohol revoked following another deadly shooting there.
Newport News police are investigating a shooting that left a man hurt. Officers were called to Dean Ray Court just before 11 yesterday morning. They found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. He is expected to survive. If you have any information about the shooting, call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP or submit a tip through the P3 Tips app.
Portsmouth police are asking for your help with a robbery investigation. Detectives say it happened around 9:30 last night at a business on Portsmouth Boulevard. Investigators say a man came into the counter with merchandise and pulled out a gun and demanded cash. Police say the suspect ran out with the money and merchandise. The good news, no one was hurt. If you have information about this robbery, contact the crime line.
Well, 10 on Your Side received several phone calls and emails about red flares in the sky over Norfolk. A viewer sent us this video of what they saw last night. Officials tell us they were part of a maritime search and training exercise with the Virginia Port Authority. The exercises will continue tomorrow in the Town Point Park area. You can read more about the drills over at wavy.com.